Welcome back to part 2 of our look at the Fisker Ocean. Potentially a lot of car for the money if you're happy to take a chance. We find out what type of customer is right for this rare unicorn of a car, despite the company being in flux at the moment.
So we've had a lot of interest from people who currently own an S or an X. They were the original innovators in the early adopters in the electric car market in the UK. Possibly bought for 2014, 2015, 2016. What else is as exciting to have as one of those? Well, we're getting some pretty positive. I mean, you're a Model S driver. What did you think?
I was amazed at how really felt very, very solid, very comfortable, kind of wafted along like a big comfortable SUV like I'd expect it to do. And I'm wondering, I guess my first thought was that with JLR bringing out a fully electric Range Rover sometime this year, that's going to be, I don't know, 130, 160 grand. So this to me is how I would imagine that electric JLR Range Rover would be. So price-wise, obviously going to be quite a big difference.
I had a customer on the forecourt who was interested in a Fisker. He has ordered a fully electric Range Rover, full size. His list price is 197 because he was quite generous with the options list.
Crikey. Yeah.
He said, for what I've spent on options, I could have a Fisker. Now, he's not cancelling the order of the Range Rover just yet. But I do think in life, everything comes down to risk and reward. And to some people, there's a real opportunity to have a really fantastic product. And as you say, they are practical, well built. You can tell they're built by Magna in Austria. You can tell the shunt lines are really good. They've got the classic door that closes nicely. They are really, really well built. And they've got a lot of components that have come out of other cars. So you can just tell the quality, the depth of quality is there. Yeah, there are people out there that are really excited about these cars.
My feelings of the ride, it seems smooth, comfortable and quiet. And I would imagine it's exactly what a typical buyer of a car like this would want. I'm just getting this impression that the payback on the really good suspension that this car has, as good as it is from isolating the occupants from the road bumps, I think the trade-off is a little bit of body roll, which as a passenger might make some passengers feel a bit queasy with too much body roll. It seems quite interesting to me that if you have got 190-something thousand pounds to spend on a car, and if you factor in the depreciation and then you test drive this, I think that for the extra money you're spending, what are you actually getting?
Yeah.
For the JLR BEV,
yeah.
compared with the Fisker?
No.
The performance, you can't get much more BHP perhaps, or if you could, you couldn't use it.
No.
It's got good quality suspension.
Yeah.
So the JLR BEV, is that going to be even more comfy? Bit of a struggle. So there's a lot of extra money, isn't it? You might ask yourself, what are you getting in return?
The other customer who came in last week has asked me to value a Bentley Bottega. That's a little bit of a one to think through.
I think one advantage this car has on the instrumentation is this forward binnacle behind the steering wheel, which a lot of Tesla Model 3 and Model Y owners, they might miss that on their car. I think it's really good to have the really basic information just immediately below your eye level. The important stuff such as speed, the amount of range you've got, any important warnings, they're immediately there rather than having to flick your eyes to the left. One thing with modern cars I don't understand is, with all the electronics that they have, I really don't understand why all cars don't have heads-up display. It was something that was patented by a guy that works for Shorts in Belfast in the early 1950s. He invented it for aircraft. Shorts took out a patent, but they let the patent lapse, and it's, considering there's no patents now on heads-up displays, I cannot understand why such an important piece of information such as the speed, the warnings, directions aren't immediately just below your eye level.
Let's talk software. The software on these cars is, I would rate, as 3 out of 5. It does what it needs to do well. It is smooth, it's responsive. There are some errors that it throws up that are going to be resolved in version 2.1, which is currently rolling out. But it's nowhere perfect. No, I'm not saying it is. But as an example, I would say that the software on this car is as good as the software on an MG4, which is a mass-produced vehicle. It's not as good as the software on a Volkswagen Group product, and it's nowhere near as good as the Tesla, Polestar, or BMW product. But to be middle of the pack on version 2.1, and it is a big if, but if they continue to pour money into that software development, we can see a lot of positives coming out.
This particular car is the top of the range option, and it has built-in solar panel which can add a useful amount of charge to the battery if it were to be parked in a very sunny spot for long periods of time, such as in California or Spain, I guess. It's probably a little bit of a gadget for the UK climate. I would swap the solar panel for a heads-up display any day of the week. There's a very smoky diesel bus up front, and I'm trying very hard to smell the diesel. So I'm wondering if this car's got a really good quality HEPA type air filtration system. Yes, it's pretty impressive. I can't smell that smoky old bus. What sort of up-to-date news do you have about what's going on in the background at Fisker, financially speaking, unemployment, redundancies and so forth?
We are party to no more than anyone else. I wish I did have an inside line. All I know is that it's a very dynamic situation. We understand is that around £3 billion has been invested in the development of this vehicle. That is a lot of money that somebody could get in development costs for a car for a lot less than £3 billion. We do know that there are 4 different OEMs talking to via Deutsche Bank to potentially buy Fisker. I know our old friends down at R. Simmons did a very nice video saying that JLR should buy it. I'm not quite sure I'm with you on that one, Richard, but it's a cracking product. Yes, it's not finished. ID3, well, we got one somewhere. When that first came out, that wasn't finished.
No.
But it has matured into a really good product now, and actually we think that shows that with a little bit of polish, this is a product that is really got a good future ahead of us. And what we've got to say is, one thing we have been told, the moment that Fisker changes its financial situation, the discounts, the prices stop. So unless you place an order before the news, you won't be buying an Extreme for 43 new. It will go straight back up to the regular price, which I still think they're genuinely amazing value even at 60k, because as I say, we looked at that at 60k versus say a BMW iX3, which is one of my favourite EVs. Ooh. The BM's good, but yeah, it does show you that it's a really competitive product on its own list price, let alone the value that they are now.
I think with the styling of the car, that the back of it reminds me very much of the Evoque, and universally acceptable. With the Fisker design, there's no intention there to make it look too weird or distinctive, as some car manufacturers do with their EVs. So my feeling is that the styling of the car, it's aimed very squarely at a traditional ICE purchaser who wants a really good, solid, comfortable, luxurious SUV, and maybe they don't mind too much who makes it country of origin. I think I read this in the last few days that Fisker in Austria have gone into administration, and Austria at Magna Steyr, that's the company that builds them, so that wasn't a piece of good news. So I'm assuming that production stopped some time ago of all Fisker cars.
Correct.
But at least it could be quite easily restarted, I guess.
Yeah, and that's one of the assets that you've got with Fisker is they don't own their production facilities. So it's contract manufactured in Austria. It's the same production line that builds a Mercedes G-Wagon a Jaguar I-Pace, a BMW Z4, a Toyota Celica. They all come out of the same factory. They could restart production relatively easily. I'm not close enough to know what's happening with the finances, but yeah.
I just wonder with Fisker if it's been, as a brand, obviously people, MG, Lotus, Volvo, brought up by the Chinese. With Fisker, maybe it's got that disadvantage. It hasn't got the same legendary history.
Yeah.
So that, I guess that just pushes the price down a lot when people are negotiating.
Yeah, I mean, on the way over to you, I was stopped at the Shell to give it a tickle. Yeah, the Polestar owner next to me was full of questions. One of those cars that, yeah, don't charge in public and not expect to be questioned about it. But no, it's a great product for that reason. I think that's what part of the appeal of it is that it's yeah, it's rarer than a Bentley.
Martin Miller from EV Experts, Sussex EVs, is very grateful to you for the time, and in particular let us have a test drive in one of these cars. Good luck and keep us posted.
Well, thank you very much, and obviously an open invite to any Sussex EV member wants to come and experience Fisker or anything else we've got. You're always welcome. We're not that far from Sussex. I know the 281 well. But it's great to see you again.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it's free and it really helps us to grow the channel. Join us next time on Sussex EVs.